You're listening to the Pelicans Postgame Report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
Perfect. Fly Pelican, fly Pelican, fly Pelican. And I tell them that birds of a feather flock together. Fly down, I'm a Pelican forever. Pelican forever. Ain't gon' lie, I feel flyer than I ever been. We stay ballin', this New Orleans, I'm a Pelican. It's going down in the nest, wild, wild west. Come in town and you best, show us some respect. 3-point threat, I better make it rain. If it's something, don't jump stupid like your ankle sprain. Always said, never hate the player, hate the game. Jumper where the dame late, punch a train. Post game, big Q, talking about business. Bird gang, YouTube, they ain't flocking with us. Lock up the division mission, get into the finals. Finish competition, then it's going win the title. I know this flyer than you can get. Such a threat that the refs just might call a tag. You can double, you can press, but you can't check. Right, left, slide by you like a Eurostag. Fly Pelican, fly Pelican, fly Pelican. And I tell them that birds of a feather flock together. Fly down, I'm a Pelican forever. Pelican forever. And never, and never, and never, and never, and never, and never say birds of a feather flock together. Yeah, fly down, I'm a Pelican forever.
Minority or what?
Pelican forever.
I think it's the work for us thing.
Defer to you. Fire away.
Looks like a similar first quarter, I think the last night, holding the guy you want to hold to a low score, but somebody else starting to get going. What else did you see in the first that kind of allowed it to get away?
Yeah, again, Dort got off to a good start, making shots. Then the snowball began. They were very comfortable. And I think there's a comfort with teams right now when they come in our building and they step on our floor. And we got to flip that. We got to find a way to flip that physically, mentally as well. This is as much a mental challenge as it is a physical. These teams are coming in with an edge. Obviously, these are two of the best teams. These two teams we just played are going to fight for the NBA title this year. That's the reality. I feel like every OKC team they play, the next morning there's a players meeting by that team. Right? They do this to teams. They're elite. And winning is something that you just don't roll into. These are habits. These are identities. These are formed over time. And it took them many, many years to get there. They've been in these days before, and so we'll continue to fight. We'll continue to, get after it. And there's no easy solution here. But, yeah, to your point, first quarter's got to be better. We're giving up 45 in the last two quarters. That's unacceptable defensively. I don't care, how many shooters they have on the floor. 45 is too many. 40 is too many. 30 is too many. So we got to do a better job there.
Just looking at Micah Peavy and the minutes he played, even though it's been a struggle for him to kind of get going offensively, seemed to kind of find a couple of things tonight. Just what did you see from Micah?
Yeah, I thought he came out, gave us great energy, crashing the boards. Defensively, he really impacted that game, so really proud of him. He responded tonight. That was a bright spot for sure. I thought Fears was good too. I thought Fears was really good. I think his dad, he looked like he belonged in that game. For a rookie to look like he belongs right now, that was a bright spot.
When you look at the list of the best defensive teams in the league, it's the Thunder, and it's a big gap between number one and two. For a team as young as they are, how unusual is it for them to have that much separation over the rest of the league defensively? And what is it that they like? How are they able to achieve that too?
Well, I think it starts with great effort. Every one of their guys, their identity is to guard number one. You can see it on each one of them. There's a responsibility and a pride about them. One-on-one, they take pride in their matchup. That's where the defense starts. The best defenses I've ever been a part of, I've been fortunate to be around. In San Antonio, we were at the top of that thing every year. Each one of those guys, number one, took pride in their defense, period. There was a scheme in place that they trusted. So having a scheme in place that they trusted night to night, they understood. I'm assuming these guys understand the principles, the shots they're trying to give up. There's a scramble mentality. When there's a fire, they tend to put it out. even when we had advantage tonight, they're in rotation. Someone covered for them. I think rim protection is obviously a big major thing. They have 2 rim protectors out there that are big at the rim. They make it tough when you get downhill. They force you into that mid-range, then they scramble out, and to their scheme, they give up threes. I don't know why teams don't make their threes against them, and then there's just an overall belief that this is who we are. And Sam and Mark have done a great job building that identity. This is who we are. They draft to it, they develop it, and it's a part of their DNA. And and I think Sam had that in San Antonio. He saw a lot of that, and he understood the value of defense. And to win in this league, you need to have that. So, tonight we found some aggression. At least I think it looks right now like our strength is our aggression defensively. When we just sit back and let teams play, we're on our heels. Teams look pretty comfortable. When we picked up with pressure, we started to deny. We trapped a little bit. They didn't feel very comfortable there. That's probably where we got to live for a little bit. We can't do that for 48 minutes, but at least it gave us a little bit of a hold on that game.
Just double checking that OKC sent you guys into a players-only game?
No, we're okay. We're okay.
What moments about fear made you think that he won?
It's just this. There's a fearlessness about him. I would say there's just a fearlessness about him, mixed with some poise, that he's comfortable getting downhill and making plays. Even against this elite defense, I felt like he was by them a couple times. They couldn't catch him. He was just downhill to the rim, downhill making plays for others. I don't think we've even tapped into the amount of force. He's going to be a great playmaker in this league as he ages. And I'd expect him throughout this year to be one of those guys that can simply touch the paint and kick out and spray. He reminds, the guy I've been comfortable with is, I guess Tony Parker had that speed that he could get down there. He was a natural scorer when he came into the NBA at that time, at a young age. He learned how to be a point guard, though. He learned how to run the show and game management. There's layers to this. We're throwing this guy. I think he could be a freshman in college this year. And he's going against these guys. It's amazing, But I love his fearlessness, his swagger, his approach to the game. Obviously, his speed. So he belongs.
You mentioned before the game that you really were pushing Carlo and Eve to do better on the boards. You ended up starting Carlo in that second half. Just what did you kind of see from those guys, and what do you want to see from them going forward?
I think just overall aggression and activity. If we are going to do this defensively, they have to be a big part of anchoring the paint. And they're young bigs. Like they're Eve's in his second year. He just came out of his rookie year. There's a learning curve. There's got to be a physicality about us, and there's got to be a knack to go rebound. And we're trying to get all of that right now with the young group. So, but I love their activity. I love their activity on the board. They can run end to end. They're both lob threats. Overall, my challenge for them is rebound and bring a physicality to the table every night. You look at the 2 bigs we just played against. Chet's a physical big. Hartenstein's a very physical big. And they anchor that paint. Our goal is to grow that in both these guys. And at the second half, I just thought Carlo and Queen were a good pairing in the first half. So I tried it there to start the third quarter. Unfortunately, we just didn't get off to a good start. We had some momentum. We just didn't get off to a good start in the third.
There were a few instances during the game where we kind of saw you trying to put your imprint on the game. You mentioned up in the pressure in the second half, drawing up a play, the live play to start off the third quarter. I guess what's your kind of goal in those moments as you're stepping into this role, just trying to establish, your principles and what you want this to look like with you?
I think my goal in this role right now is to ignite some aggression. When I don't see aggression, I try to manufacture it in some ways as the head coach. Right? So you can do that through your defense, a little bit through your offense. I'll get more comfortable calling, making some, offensive calls. We have yet to have a practice on any of this stuff. So this is all new for us. We're learning on the fly. But we tried as a staff tonight to bring our aggression defensively, to flip the game. And if you just sit back on your heels against OKC, they're going to be downhill in the aggressors all night. I wish I had started pressing earlier. I wish I had started the game in pressure and aggression. If I'm looking back, I would have said we should be starting in that the whole time. But that's what, that's my job, is to try to flip the aggressor through the offensive end or the defensive end. And I think we tried to, help our group tonight.
Coach, obviously tough stretch for you at home. As a coach, what's more important to you, like the X's and O's or the psychological side of, coaching, like
question.
delivering the right message and stuff?
Great question. It's the spirit right now and the mindset right now. That trumps all. Trying to get this group to believe, to trust one another, to have resiliency. The X's and O's are one thing. We're gonna have to fix that and correct that along the way. As we go, we have yet to have one, practice together with this new unit. But more than anything right now, it's the spirit, it's the mindset, it's a belief, it's a confidence, it's a trust. That is my number one thing right now on the table. When we get dinged and we come to a timeout, stay the course, stay resilient, tough, next play. We're not there yet. We got a ways to go. Go. But what I'll say is I've seen stretches of it. Last night, I saw a stretch of it. We got back in the game down. Tonight, out of it, we strike back, we come back, and we hung in there, against, this team beats, I don't even know what they're beating teams by, but they do this to everybody. So I saw that resiliency, that response tonight. We just got to do it more.
What was your message to the young guys, especially?
The young guys, stay with it. It's a long year, we believe in you. We trust you. Keep growing. Keep asking questions. Stay curious. How do I get better? This is a lot for them right now. This is a lot, and it doesn't get it easier. We get a team that's very good coming in the next night. So stay fresh, stay positive, and keep moving forward.
James, was it intentional for you to play 9 guys at least 20 minutes? I think Trey was the only one that exceeded 30. Is this part of like what you told us a couple of days ago? You're really trying to find the right rotations, or is it you're trying to get everybody out there together so it feels like everybody's in this together because you're talking about that mental side?
Yeah, on the back-to-back, that was part of it. We wanted to play, some different lineups. We're exploring some different things. We have a script going in on rotations, and the game just felt like, we were looking for different lineups and trying some different things. So the script, we went off script a little bit. PV, we found a group that had some rhythm, and I wrote it, and sometimes guys, ran a little bit shorter or longer, but I'm proud of the group that they stepped up. I thought like the PV, the Bryce, those guys off the bench, Carlos stepped up into those minutes and did a very good job. So to answer your question, we're just trying to explore right now and see what we can find.
I know you're not a rebounding team, so small, little, impressive stats or something, I know it's not going to be something you're looking at, but still, against OKC, you held them to 9 fast break points, you forced 18 turnovers, then you scored 30 points off of those turnovers. Are those like wins? Can you show that to the group? Is that what you're trying to build on?
It's a win. Yeah, it's a win. I think coming out of last night, we did not convert our turnovers last night, right? If we converted last night, we'd be in a better spot. Tonight, we did a better job of that. I thought when we turned them over, we're aggressive. We converted it, or at least we got shots on the other end, so that's growth. Yep.
In that vein, like when they're difficult to come by, how are you measuring progress like on a day-to-day basis?
Well, there has to be a process. The things we value, defensively and offensively, I've got to be much clearer with the group what that is, the value of the defensive possessions, what we're looking to take away. And right now, as I said, the focus for me is the transition defense, protecting the paint and rebounding. We're going to measure it by that. So we'll go back, watch the film, dig in and adjust accordingly. Offensively, the pillars are, can we play with great pace? We're trying to work on that, convert our turnovers, continue to crash the offensive boards and not turn the ball over. A thing that has been a little tough right now is just our ball movements got to get better. That's just a piece of who I am, and it's my job to get them there, to trust the pass, to move the ball, to share it. and we'll get there. So I'd rather measure it in that vein of those benchmarks. And you're going to win some in this game, you're going to lose some, but as long as we're making strides in those areas.
In regards to that, what's the balance between just kind of like aimlessly playing hot potato to just reach a number of passes versus moving it with intention to create advantages or have intentional reversals to change the angle?
Well, the toughest thing to guard right now in the NBA are these closeouts, right? So you want to have attacking drives to pull in the defense and then make the kick, obviously. Sometimes you simply need to reverse the ball, though. And there's just some handoffs that simply move the ball to the second side. You don't want to live in that all the time. It's tough to turn the corner with these guys. But I thought there was a stretch that I'm probably going to watch. I'm going to be pretty excited about in the second quarter where we were getting downhill. Against their defense, we were swinging it, driving it, kicking it. That's the vision for this type of an offense. We're not there consistently, but we want to put pressure on the paint. Sometimes that's with the drive, a handoff, a pocket pass, something like that. But I feel like at times we're playing too much on the perimeter. We got to have, scoring threats downhill.
How do you feel DQ has handled the slightly altered, role in the last two games?
I thought he's done well. I mean, this is new for him. He's going against starting centers, and I saw some good tonight. The rebounding is legit. He can rebound the ball. And if you're going to be a starter, in this league, you got to be able to rebound the ball against these bigs. And I thought he gave us good minutes there. Obviously, he's trying to make plays for us too. And he means well, and sometimes he gets a little bit out of hand, But I trust him. I believe in him. We need him to make plays for us. There's not, currently as we stand, we're missing two playmakers, two scorers, that produce a lot for us. And so I trust him. He's got to make plays. I thought he's done a good job handling those minutes.
To what extent have you found you have to live with turnovers with rookies? Who handle the ball a lot?
Well, I lived through some of that in Charlotte, and LaMelo was rookie of the year, and then his second year he was an all-star. But he would drive me crazy with the turnovers. It's just part of the growth process, and they mean well, but a pass that was probably there in college or high school, right? It's not there. The length and the size, especially against a defense like this, isn't there. So part of this is you got to go let them explore. You have to let them go experience this. It's my job to coach them, and the secondly is the better space we are, the better decisions they can make. So it's twofold. It's his teammates, their teammates, and then making good decisions. But for us to get where we want to with Fears and Queen, we've got to let them go at times. Good. Thanks.
All right, Coach Borrego. For all things Pelicans, y'all now tuned in to the Pelican Postgame Report. Shout out to the fam. Appreciate y'all for being in the live on this one. PPR is in the building, man. Pelicans blasted by the Thunder 126-109. Man, we knew this was going to happen. The Thunder are a defending world champions and our team that's on code and playing to a very strong identity, man. And they ran the Pelicans through. They put up 49 points on the Pelicans in the first quarter, 36 in the third quarter, and basically handled their business. They were able to get a bunch of foul shots in our arena, 23 converted 23 of 28, 82% from the foul line. That's fundamental team. It's a very good team we played. And you can see as they improved to 4-1 and 8-1 on the road. Very difficult to win on the road. Not if you're OKC. They took care of business. Pelicans go down and fall to 2-12. Coach Borrego mentioned in one good practice. I have to disagree with Coach B on that. I think that they're getting a lot of practice. If anything, these last couple of games, they're getting a lot of experience and reps against quality teams, man. They're getting their butt kicked, and that's got to count for something. We're getting Jeremiah Fears and DQ in there and the rest of these guys, PV. They're getting some real good reps against some good teams, man. So that's going to eventually count for something for our young squad. But outside of that, man, Pelicans go down yet again. Big ups to y'all. Appreciate y'all for being in the stream. Y'all do me a service and hit that like button as we get going up in this thing. So anyway, let's hit these stats, fam, to kind of talk about the Pelicans. And OKC shot 49% from the field, both of them in this game. Pels were 42 of 86. The Pelicans were 12 of 28 from downtown for 43%. That is respectable. OKC was 17 of 42 from downtown for 40%. They went to the foul line. Like, this is the big thing. 23 of 28. Now, of course, they hit 5 more three-pointers, but look at those free throw attempts. They got 23 of 28 in our damn building, as the Pelicans only 13 of 15 for 87%. So that's just ridiculous. But anyway, the rebounds 38 to 35 right there. That's the shy effect. Them damn free throws. That's the shy effect. And of course, the assist game. Pelicans only 21 assists versus 30 by OKC. The steals 12 to 9, blocks 5-4. OKC advantage. Not too much the Pelicans won in this game. You know, you can see the turnovers. Pelicans had 22 of them. I think they had 12 or 14 of them at half. 12 turnovers at half. They finished with 22 and 31 points given up on them versus 18 by OKC, giving up 30. 9 all as fast break points. Points in the paint also favored OKC 52 to 48. Pelicans never had the lead in this game, and OKC at one point had the lead by 30 points. It was a rout, to say the least. All right, anyway, let's hit the individuals as we can take it down with them. As you can see, what's really interesting, our top option in this offense was Trey Murphy, who finished with 18 points in 33 minutes. He had 9 shot attempts in the game, just 9 attempts. 6 of 9. They were all over him, man. 6 of 9 for Trey from the field, 4 of 5 from the 3-point line, and 2 of 2 from there. He finished with 18 points to go along with 5 boards and 3 turnovers to go along with Trey. He had 3 steals, our top option. 24 by Jeremiah Fears, who scored the most in 25 minutes. 24 for our young player, 9 of 16 from the field. He was 2 of 5 from downtown, 4 of 5 from the charity stripe. He did have 3 turnovers, but put up some good production for the team. And it's the only 2 guys in double digits. Herb Jones in 26 minutes finished with 5 points. He continues to struggle shooting the ball. He was 1 of 8 from the field and 1 of 3 from downtown. He also had 4 turnovers to go along with 2 rebounds and assists. Herb is just not shooting the ball well as of late. Derek Queen, in about 26 minutes, DQ had 9 points. He was 3 of 10 from the field, 3 of 4 from the charity stripe, 8 rebounds. He had 6 turnovers and 3 assists. So when you are playing the OKC Thunder, notice that those turnovers up, because that's what those guys do. They turn you over. Eves, in 22 minutes, he had 6 points to go along with 2 rebounds, 2 assists as well. So, and then of course off the bench, a lot of positive to say about Peavy. Peavy came in, man, and the rookie class, fam, of Queen and Fears and Peavy. You got to give Joe Dumars credit, him and Troy Weaver. These are gamers, man. These guys. Peavy came in with 24 minutes. Of course, we know Sadiq was down with the ankle issue, which opened up minutes for Peavy. Peavy played 24 minutes and chunked in 16 points on 7 of 9 shooting from the field. He was 2 of 3 from downtown, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. He did not have any turnovers. Peavy had a very solid game off the bench. 10 from Carlo Mekovic, 4 of 5 shooting, 2 of 3 from downtown for Carlo. He also had 6 rebounds, 2 assists, and a block for Carlo in 22 minutes. Need to see more action for Carlo, man. He's really stepping that thing up. 11 from Jordan Hawkins, the former first-round pick. 5 of 11 from the field. He did struggle a bit from the 3-point line. He was 1 of 5 there, but did have 6 assists to go along. He was +5 in this thing. And then Bryce McGowan's also got an opportunity in 13 minutes. Bryce had 4 points and 3 rebounds. He was +12 as well. So Jose Alvarado, energy man, was 23 minutes in there, but Jose not too much on the offensive end in this game. He finished with just 6 points and was 3 of 9 from the field, 0 of 4 from downtown, 2 rebounds and an assist for Jose Alvarado. So the Pelicans once again lose another one, man, and we knew it was going to happen. OKC is a dangerous team, man. They are just an awesome team. They play with so much, with just so smart and turning you over. They just got that identity rolling. And of course, you could say SGA, man, doing his thing in 29 minutes. He finished with 23 points. He went to the foul line 10 times just by himself. This is what he does. It's the shy effect. 10 for 10 from the charity stripe. He finished with 8 assists, 3 steals, along with those 23 points. 26 from Chet Holmgren, 10 of 14. We didn't play against him the first time he was hurt, but he turned in 26 points, 9 rebounds, and plus 23 in 33 minutes against the Pelicans tonight. Hartenstein gave him 16 and 7, along with 6 assists. He was solid. He also had 4 steals as he steps his game up. Lou Dort in 17 points in 28 minutes. He was plus 27. You take a look at the plus minus. It's off the chain with the starters for the OKC Thunder. You see Wallace is there as well with 7 points with 4 assists, but it's just ridiculous, man. The plus minus, plus 19 from Hartenstein, Holmgren plus 23, plus 33 for Shea, plus 27 for Lou Dort, plus 14, plus the win as they improved to 14 and 1, Pelicans 2 and 12. Next on the horizon, fam. It doesn't get any easier because we do have the Denver McNuggets coming up next. And this team is currently on a 7-game winning streak. They're 10 and 2, but as of right now, they're locked in a battle with the Chicago Bulls at 126 to 124. Right now, they're locked in a battle with 18 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. So, we'll see if the Bulls can maintain and hold that lead, but that's what's going on right now as we are having this matchup. This breakdown right here that they're going into battle with the Bulls. But outside of that, that's who we got coming up next. We got the Denver Nuggets chiming in next in the Smoothie King Center. And it's going to be interesting. Remember, the Nuggets blasted the Pelicans late last month, 122 to 88. The Pelicans trying to get some good back, trying to get back into that and handle some business. Perhaps, family, we can get Zion Williamson and maybe Sadiq Bey back. A couple of the injury reports, the estimated timelines for all its work are indicating the 19th as a possible spot for the team to get Zion Williamson back, which would be the Denver matchup. We don't know, and they talked about Coach Borrego did mention prior to tonight's game that it would go according to he would make the decision based on, as far as Zion is concerned, playing how the warm-ups and the pregame stuff activated. They decided to kind of wait it out. But as you can see right here on screen, Sadiq Bey dealing with an ankle. Zion Williamson with that hamstring is estimated to return against the Denver Nuggets. Of course, Jordan Poole, a couple days later, Jordan Poole is supposed to be making his way back. So it'll be cool to get some of those guys back. Sadiq Bey has been pretty consistent. Zion Williamson represents 20-plus points, and Jordan Poole is one of our best shooters. So to get the firepower back that Zion Williamson and Jordan Poole represents, to kind of turn this thing around would be cool, man. That would be awesome to get that back. The Pelicans currently on a 6-game slide. We're trying to stop the bleeding there, man. You can see that old matchup indicator. It's telling you don't have a chance in this one. But like I said, man, we'll see how it all works. The Joker and his squad is playing really well. Those guys are playing really well right now, man. Matter of fact, let me show y'all here this right here. Bulls still in control. Now they're up by 3. 127 to 124. That's what's going on right now with the Nuggets. And man, let me tell you something. The Nuggets they got it going on, man. Jamal Murray's healthy. Tim Hardaway is there. Cameron Johnson, the former Sun and Net, is there as well. And they've been playing really good ball. Bruce Brown went back to Denver, and they've had a pretty decent squad. Jonas Valanciunas is there off the bench, and they just play really good basketball, man. Julian Strother, another Pelican killer, man. He'll be more than likely out for this game, but it'll be a tall order to deal with Denver. And like Coach Borrego was saying, not a lot of practice per session, but I still count these games as practice. They got to count for something more than just losing. You see what I'm saying, family? I mean, you're going up against some of these teams, and you're basically getting educated. You're getting you're getting flamed up, getting a rough education against some of the league's best, man. But this got to count for something, man. Straight up and down, man. Jeremiah Fears is getting better. You can see now that Derek Queen is in the starting lineup. Eventually, we get Zion Williamson back in this thing, and we'll kind of see how it all looks. That's what I'm kind of just looking past all of the stuff. I know a couple of our big dogs are not there, but Derek Queen and Zion in the same lineup, getting Sadiq Bey back, Jordan Poole back later on. How then do the Pelicans look? Then that's when the fun really starts to see with Fears and Queen and Zion and Trey and all these guys in the lineup. How do then the Pelicans look to the rest? So James Borrego, man, just keep doing what you're doing. Keep talking to him and keep working with him, man. And still study that tape, fam. Because listen, let me tell y'all something, man. And you watch the game, and I for years been talking about unintelligent switching. They just be doing shit, bro. They don't even be thinking about what they're doing, and that's one thing Antonio Daniels, says when he's doing the broadcasting. The last game, because he don't really be mentioning all that. I know he be just kind of holding his tongue on a lot of stuff to kind of keep his commentary balanced. But when I notice, like, damn, this team do a lot of dumb switching. And this Willie Green, and is it because it comes to a point like, man, listen, if we do not switch, like AD was saying, hey man, just hold your matchup, right? If you're gonna switch, y'all be intelligent enough to know when to stop switching when you're about to switch yourself into a situation that benefits the ops. For instance, Jose Alvarado is one of these dumb switchers. No disrespect, but Jose Alvarado is constantly caught in dumb switching moments. Come on. Put one in the chat if you've seen Jose at least 5 times a effing game getting caught in these dumb switches in which he's switching out with a player and some kind of way he'll end up guarding the center in the paint. I'm like, how is this guy? Why is it always you, bro? No, man, you do not switch all if it switches you into a negative matchup that benefits the ops. We got to be more intelligent at. And like I said, I'm seeing the effort from the team. Yeah, they're playing good in stretches, right? But they're just not fundamental. Let's just be honest with you. Instead of, they're not offensive rebound minded. Let's just be honest with you. That's something that a coach has to breed into his players and into some type of identity. We know they don't have an identity, but just to live off a one shot hit or quit a moment and then run back and this type of thing. We're not that offensive minded where we have a guy there or we circulate the ball to somebody gets in position to get an offensive rebound so we don't have to live by the one shot policy, right? And then of course getting back on defense, not backpedaling, but actually getting out and sprinting back before to prevent an outlet pass or some stuff like this. I'm constantly seeing that guys walking or guys just jogging, this sort of thing. They're just not fundamental, family. They're just not. And then it really shows when you see teams that is about the business. When you see teams like OKC tonight, like we've seen with Denver, like when you've seen with Golden State, when you see teams that are really good, like the offensive rebounds and stuff like that. Another thing that I noticed about the Pelicans, fam, and y'all put one in the chat if you've seen this before. When you see guys ball watching around the damn rim, why you see the ops is taking shots and the Pelicans guys around the rim are ball watching, meaning that they're not blocking out potential offensive rebounders to get or second chance players, getting there and get the second chance rebound to kick out, or a guy jumps and taps it back. Closing the door for guys to get back up under there so they can do offensive rebounds, this sort of thing. Just closing out. They sit up here watching the ball and the player gets right to him, to the basket, gets the ball back for an offensive rebound and a stick back. That type of stuff has to be put into the head of into the basketball team. Like I said, they're actually out there running around and doing it. We're just not fundamental. We're just not fundamental with it. So, like I said, practice is definitely good, but they're getting the ultimate practice. Guys are in the game in the heat of the moment. And I'm telling you, those mean a lot when you can get that real that real game experience like Fears is getting, like Queen is getting, like Peavy's getting. These guys need that experience, and Hawkins and all these guys. He's still young. He needs to learn as well. So at the end of the day, man, James Borrego sits at these press conferences. It's not 4 or 5. Notice it's not 3, 4, or 5 minutes, and he grabs the paper and then picks his nose and go like the previous guy. Or maybe he didn't pick his nose, but but anyway. But if you look at what's going on with Borrego is sitting there for 10, 15, 20-minute press conferences asking questions about what we need to do. And it's smart. His answers are smart. He's telling you, this is what this is. Like, for instance, the good game Borrego just gave you about LaMelo Ball. You know what I'm saying? When they mentioned about the turnovers. And he gave you the good game about them thinking that pass is there when they're in high school and college. That was a good breakdown for people to understand the differences between the speed of the game from high school to college to pros. And a lot of those young guys are relying on that experience, thinking that they dominated at that level, that they can do that now. And they're realizing, hey, man, these guys are a lot smarter and faster than I'm anticipating, which means I will have to get as smarter and faster as they are, or better, to be able to not turn the ball over as much. But this game against OKC, these guys, they play the passing lanes. They're aggressive. They'll get up and they'll rough you up. Like we talked about tonight. Trey Murphy had 9 attempts. Just 9 attempts tonight from Trey Murphy. He was 6 of 9 tonight. So in the end, you're playing a team that's incredibly balanced with an identity, and these guys are champions, man. And they haven't changed the damn thing. They still playing as dominated. Look like they better than what they were last year or what they're doing. So it's going to be interesting going forward, man. But it just shows you the difference between what a championship team looks like versus a team that is not a championship team. A team with 2 wins, right? And 2 missing key components of the team that accounts for over 40 points of offense and many other things, right? So that's pretty much what we got, man. So we'll see how it all looks. Let me go and check back on that Denver game and see if Denver won the matchup here against the team. So I have to know, we got to know if Denver win that matchup, they won't be as pissed off against the Pelicans. They come in here and looking, they could smack down the Pelicans after the Chi-Town Bulls pull one from them. Let me take a look at the final on that, fam. Yeah, they lost. Okay, so that is right there. So they'll be coming in here with a loss. They snap us the Bulls 7. It was 6-6. They're not 7-6. They snapped the Denver Nuggets 7-game winning streak they had going on right there. So the Bulls, Josh Giddey, all those guys that was able to take care of some business against the Nuggets in their building. Matter of fact, they gave the Nuggets their first home loss of the season, man. So that's interesting. Can the Pelicans, hopefully it's different. I would have to say, listen, fam, I would have to say that the game would be a loss. I don't think the Pelicans beat the Nuggets, without a boost. If Zion is there and if we can get Sadiq Bey back, I think we have more of a chance right there to be able to do something with the Nuggets. But without those guys, I'm not going to give us much of a chance. You know what I'm saying? We still got a lot to learn. I appreciate the effort, but we also have to play with intelligence. Intelligence is a big part of the whole matrix, not just effort, But anyway, listen, fam, I appreciate y'all for being in the stream. Yes, indeed. Turnovers. Tech Blitz, shout out to you, Jedi Connor. Much love. What do you guys think about it? Y'all put it in the chat right quick. Who wins the next matchup right here between the Pels and the Nuggets? Y'all put it in the chat. Let me know how y'all feel about that as well. All right. Yeah, Slim said turnovers were killing us. And fam, like I said, they had they did have a lot of turnovers. It was 12 turnovers, something like that, 12 turnovers. I stopped counting. I think it was like a dozen at halftime, right? They finished with like 22 or something like that. But also OKC had like 20 turnovers too. But when you really look at the game, it was a game of runs. They did have 5 more 3-pointers than us. But really the major stat that I look at is the free throws. Fam, SGA had 10 free throw, shots, makes. He was 10 of 10. they had like 28 free throw attempts, and they hit like 20, some high clip 28 or something. I have to go back to the stats, but your free throws, that's the thing that really hurts you. And they hit like 82% of the free throws when the team give them like that many free throws. Plus, it just really hurts you. And that's what I was saying about being able to hit out when we get an opportunity, when we're fortunate enough to get to the line, we have to be able to take advantage of that. We have to be able to hit the charity stripe or the free throws. It's supposed to be the easiest shot in basketball for some. I guess a layup would be for others. But for Zion Williamson shooting like 50 to 60%, something like that, 70%, whatever the bull crap is, we have to do better in the fundamental stuff. Really, seriously, fam. Rebounds, passing the ball. Do James Borrego have to take it back to basics? I mean, for real. He probably got to take it back to basics, fam. Offensive rebounding, free throws, passing, understanding what you're looking at before you're passing, ball movement, being intelligent. Maybe we need to kind of chill out on the zone work and all that stuff, and just until they get a concept of what's going on. Because a lot of times, even though the effort's there, they don't communicate well enough to be able to lock it down. Which means, that's a point of emphasis as a coach. He has to work out communication, man, because that unintelligent switching is really a debacle, man. That just Jose Alvarado is always end up going switching. Him and Jordan Hawkins always finding the bad switch. I mean, they just out there moving around just to be doing something, man. Just think about what you're doing, bro. You can't guard no center. Why you switching to that guy? Why you doing that? That shit kills me when I see that. Why is Jose guarding that guy in the paint? And that's a dumb move, bro. And then the crazy part is you see players just go up and bump into him, right? Y'all see that? Put one in the chat if you see that as well. I know I'm asking for a lot of ones, but that's like amen in the damn chat in the church. The reality is, like, if a guy is coming up to you, and you know how the players bump into you and they kind of pull you their way. If it's a bad switch, don't go with the guy. Push him off and tell the other guy, stick with who you got and and handle your matchup. Do not switch. Think about what you're doing, man. Do not switch into these stupid lineups. And even Antonio Daniels starting to call it out more. He mentioned it sporadically in previous games, but he really starting to get on it. That unintelligent switching is stupid as hell, man. And they just out there just doing it, not even thinking, bro. You got to think about what the hell you doing, man. I know Borrego got to be telling them guys, hey, dog, don't switch out to a matchup you can't handle. Jose, you shouldn't be trying to guard Hartenstein. Jose, you don't need to be switching out with what's the big fella that they had down there, Holgram. You don't need to be switching out for them dudes. Stop doing that, dude. They just don't be thinking. I was like, man, what the hell, man? Think about what the hell you doing, bro. Think about it, man. Don't just be doing something for the hell of doing it. You got to be making sure you're thinking. I don't want dumb effort. Effort is cool, but I want good effort. I don't want dumbass effort. That's a waste of energy because all you're doing is helping the ops. And the OKC is so smart, they'll let you play yourself. They'll like, these people don't know what they're doing, and they'll let you play yourself. Hell, they'll help you. So, in the end, man, I just watching as many of these games as we do, I just really really don't like that, man. That's just a very clear key of just stupid basketball, man. Low IQ basketball. Just doing shit just to be doing it, man. Just wasting energy. Think about what you're doing, bro, and do the right thing, man. Damn. All right. Anyway, man, listen, man, I'm going to get on out of here, man. I ain't want to keep you off for that long, man. Shout out to you, Young City. I see you, fam. Yeah. Jose Bless says, yes, no more blaming Willie. Where's Zion? He's hopefully, bro, listen, Zion was supposed to come back 2 games ago. But now they're pushing it back to the 19th. That's the estimated. He was supposed to play this game, but it was based upon how he looked in warm-ups or the pregame routine, which Borrego must have decided that he didn't look good enough and that to give him additional time. So now the estimated timeline for Zion is pushed back to the 19th, which is Wednesday, which is the matchup against the Joker and the Denver Nuggets, who just lost to the Chi-Town Bulls. So they'll be coming into this game with a loss, which means they'll be motivated to get a win, which is fine with me because I want to play some of these tough teams because let them hit them with everything they got, let them flame them up, let them do all this stuff, run into a bend, and then ultimately let it twist and turn the team. Let them have some difficulty here and let them forge an identity from the fire that what these teams are putting on them. They blazing the hell out the Pelicans. They routing them and twisting them and turning them and every damn thing. That's fine because in the end, this should make this team tough. It should make them smarter. And we should be able to kind of build with some of these weaker teams. Hopefully. Hopefully. We'll see. All right. So anyway, with that being said, fam, shout out to you, Stephanie. I see you, man. I appreciate y'all for being in the stream. Shout out to the kings and queens of the freaking flock, man. And of course, like I said tonight, the Pelicans, they lose again. But listen, we'll be back on Wednesday. We'll have some flash reports. We'll have some previews as well as the Denver Nuggets game coming out tomorrow. We'll also have some flash reports, see what the latest news and notes on the Pelicans. There are rumors about potential coaches. We talked about some of this stuff on the last broadcast where we mentioned about will it be, and I don't want to kind of, leave. Well, let me leave this thought with y'all. We talked about this on the previous stream. Y'all want to go back and listen to it last night. Good game. When we got into it, we talked about the coaching search with the New Orleans Pelicans, and what would the Pelicans ownership, which is Gail Benson, right? We've heard rumors, and it's very credible rumors that the Pelicans are trying to conserve dollars under Joe Dumars because of the liberal spending that they did under David Griffin that did not bore the fruit that they wanted it to bear. So they are taking more of a conservative approach with Joe Dumars. Now, with that being said, the coaches that we want them to have to bring the team out of mediocrity is a respected championship coach that has that pedigree that can step in and make that noise. Now, we all know who that is. We know there are a handful of those guys that sit there, whether you like them or not. We know it's Malone. We know there's Budenholzer that's out there as well. There are a couple other guys. Some of these guys that sit in that upper tier, which would Malone would be, and all these guys, they sit in that tier. These are double-digit guys insofar as how much you're going to pay them per year. Like I showed you guys last night, good game here, and nobody talked about that. The Pelicans, I guess the more money the Pelicans ever paid per year for a coach was Van Gundy. I think it was around $7 million a season. He signed a 4-year deal, paid him like $7 million a season, right? They cut him loose after the first year. It was all BI inspired. He didn't like the point Zion system because that's what Van Gundy was focalizing on, was Zion as the guy. And Zion had a lot of good success under Van Gundy. He really kind of unlocked a lot of that and really gave him the identity. A lot of really Pelicans inside really owes Van Gundy some respect because he had created the point Zion situation that a lot of these other guys came along and trying to benefit from. But nevertheless, they paid him $7 million a season. Will they be ready to pay 10 or above? He was making 10 already. Well, he'll be looking for more than that. Will she cut that check is the question for a championship coach. That's the point. And of course, when he comes, you're not going to coerce him into taking Willie Green's assistant coaches. That will not work. So whatever happens once the season is over with, just giving y'all a little game right here. We'll talk about this later. But very well could be an entire staff coming in. If it's him, he going to bring his own staff in, and it ain't going to be cheap. It's not going to be cheap. Winning and doing it right is never cheap unless you are the OKC Thunder, where you can go and get a G League coach, let him coach for 5 or 6 years, and turn and take a G League coach and a bunch of first-round draft picks and the guy that they got to steal with in SGA, build around him, and the next thing you know, you took over the league. Unless you're ran by Sam Presti in OKC, that's the only way you do it. But I digress. Is that the route the Pelicans are going to take? If not, or they end up fiddling around with the second layer of people that are not double-digit guys per year. This is the type of stuff that needs to be known going forward because it is now in a territory where it is on leadership, right? They try to hang Joe Dumars out with that whole thing about him not firing Willie Green. Joe, I know for a fact Joe Dumars wanted to fire Willie Green after that 0-6 mark. And it was the owner that stopped all of that and held it up until this Friday when she came out with the press conference and said that it's on Joe, that I don't meddle in affairs, which was an outright lie. And then the next day he fired him after her press conference so she can kind of, not press conference, but the little interview she did to kind of absolve herself for blame, which is some BS. So now we know all of that now sits in her court on what she would willing to spend for a championship, which she is very short-sighted because if she spent that goddamn money on Malone and she would get that damn building, if she got Malone and let Malone went and got his staff at the end of the year, let him pick his own people and build his staff up, and this team is competitive and they're in the playoff and they playing hard, she can get that damn building. These people so short-sighted. They're so short-sighted. They're so greedy. They just cloud their vision. You get a championship coach down here and let him build up the team. It'll pack the arena. It's respect. He'll turn this team into a quality organization along with Joe. You got credible people. And then over time, you can be able to get that arena that you want. You'll get it if you're winning. That's the whole thing about the faithful. You'll get it if you're winning. These people are so short-sighted, man. They're so short-sighted. They're so cheap and short-sighted. It just sickens me. But at the end of the day, listen, I'm going to get on now. I just want to leave y'all with that, to throw that at y'all about the money aspect. Now it gets down to you want Malone, it's going to cost you. Malone is available. And get this as well. Once the season is, I know I'm spanning ahead. We still got a lot of games left, but I'm just throwing this game at you. That Malone is not going to come cheap and he will have competition because he's seen as the number one coach on the market. So he's not going to come cheap. Is she going to take that tab and pay for it? That's the question. Well, we got the whole damn year to talk about that. With that being said, listen, I'm going to get on out of there. I appreciate y'all, man, for listening at me tonight. Y'all do us a service. Hit that like button and the share button. PPR, we in here representing the Pelican Nation. Pelicans go down tonight. But we will return Wednesday as they match up against the Denver Chicken McNuggets. And we'll see what goes on with Zion and the rest of the flock as well. With that being said, I'm going to get on out of here. Much love, peace, and go Pelicans.
You're listening to the Pelicans Postgame Report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
Perfect. Fly Pelican, fly Pelican, fly Pelican. And I tell them that birds of a feather flock together. Fly down, a Pelican forever. Yeah, ain't gon' lie, I feel flyer than I ever been. We stay ballin', this New Orleans, I'm a Pelican. It's going down in the nest, wild, wild west. Come in town and do best, show us some respect. 3-point threat, I better make it rain. If it's up, then don't jump stupid like your ankle sprain. Always said, never hate the player, hate the game. Jumper where the dame late, punch a train. Post game, big Q, talking about business. Bird gang, YouTube, they ain't flocking with us. Lock up the division mission, get into the finals. Finish competition, then it's going win the title. I know this flyer than you can get. Such a threat that the ref just might call a tag. You could double, you could press, but you can't check. Right, left, slide by you like a Eurostep. Fly Pelican, fly Pelican, fly Pelican. And I tell them that birds of a feather flock together. Fly down, I'm a Pelican forever, Pelican forever. And never, and never, and never, and never, and never, and never say birds of a feather flock together. Yeah, fly down, I'm a Pelican forever. Pelican.
Hey, New Orleans! Whether you're catching up on Saints news at Jackson Square, checking Pelicans scores in the Garden District, or staying updated on LSU while grabbing coffee in the French Quarter, there's one place that keeps you connected to everything that matters in our city. From Bourbon Street to the Superdome From Preservation Hall to the riverfront, New Orleanians are staying in the know with the whodatdaily.com, your daily source for Saints, Pelicans, LSU, and all the sports, music, and culture that makes our city special. At work downtown, at a game in the Dome, or just relaxing by the Mississippi, wherever life takes you in the Big Easy, you can stay connected. Because when you're from New Orleans, you don't just live here. You stay in the NO. That's stay in the know. Visit the WhoDatDaily.com and never miss what matters most to Who Dat Nation. Stay in the NO, you stay in the know.
Welcome to the Pro Shop, where we create authentic NOLA-inspired clothing for men, women, and children. From Saints jerseys to Pelicans gear, everything's crafted right here in New Orleans. Whether you're shopping the Pro Shop, the Pel Shop, or the Pro Shop Kids, we've got your whole family covered with genuine merchandise that represents our city's spirit. Check for links in the description section.